prototype validation, that is converting innovation into a startup. Innovation is the practical implementation of ideas that result in the introduction of new goods or services or improvement in offering goods or services. So one of the ways we can bring innovation to the market is through technology transfer. However, there are many stories where technology transfer proved to be very difficult for innovators. So they decided to start their ventures so that they could bring their innovation to the market through startups like Google did. I hope everyone knows about Google's story. That is, it was founded by two graduate students of Stanford University who built a search engine and tried unsuccessfully to sell it to Yahoo for $1 million. So selling your innovation to another company has always been really difficult, and you are often better off starting your own company rather than to sell your innovation to a company who's going to be your competitor only. So, in case of Google, their founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, ended up doing and founding one of the most successful startups of our times. In today's session, we are going to hear more about it from our two esteemed speakers, Mr. Avelo Roy, Managing Director of Kolkata Ventures, and Ms. Vanshika Batra, co-founder of Cloudflow and an alumnus of Amity University. So today we are going to hear insights and experiences from two ends of a very broad spectrum. With this, I introduce the first speaker of the day, Mr. Avelo Roy, who is currently Managing Director of Kolkata Ventures. He is also Director ECC Engineering Private Limited. He is on board of advisors for Amity University Online and Comedy Munch, New Delhi. He is also former startup advisor to Prime Minister of Nepal. He has been guest lecturer at Illinois Institute of Technology, Northwestern Universities, and Indian Institute of Technologies like Delhi, Bombay, Kharagpur, Bhubaneswar, Goa, Hyderabad, and Guwahati. And he has so far had 500 plus speaking engagements in United States and India, including White House panel for entrepreneurship education, Startup America, Invest India, Rashtrapati Bhavan, TEDx Talks, Josh Talks, and many more. He has been recipient of 150 plus awards in India, US, Canada, and China. He has mentored 1,800 plus startups in India, US, Canada, and China. Mr. Avelo Roy is a serial technology entrepreneur, investor, and TV host who started his first startup at the age of 19 years, which was around his patent pending technology while still studying as a computer engineer at the Illinois Institute of Technology. He built it into a multi-million-dollar valuation by the age of 22. He has built 8 businesses in US and India with multi-million dollars worth of products and services, ranging from consumer electronics, artificial intelligence, healthcare process automation, food science, wireless communications, wearable technology, and graphical password applications. As the great-great-grandson of Honorable Sarojini Naidu ji, Avelo continues the legacy forward by tirelessly serving the Indian youth through entrepreneurship, education using lean startup methodology and principles of Bhagavad Gita. His efforts through Kolkata Ventures in the past 5 years have resulted in 500 plus revenue generating startups responsible for around 4,700 new jobs created in 10 states of East India. Avelo's management style is derived from the principles of Bhagavad Gita. He is an influential youth icon with a monthly reach of 200,000 youths over social media. With this brief introduction, I invite Mr. Avilo Roy to share his valuable experience and insights in converting innovations into startups. I, on behalf of Amity University, welcome Mr. Avilo Roy. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Professor. Very kind of you, very kind introduction. Let me quickly share my screen. Mm. Is my screen visible?
Not yet, maybe a few seconds and more.
Let me try this. Screen one.
Yeah, now it's coming up. Yeah.
What do you see?
I see the screen. The screen. Now it is Illinois Institute of Technology.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Very, very wonderful to be at Amity again. Professor Mani is very kind to invite me a few times a year. So, a little bit about my introduction. Like Professor said, I started as a young entrepreneur at the age of 19, studying at the Illinois Institute of Technology as an engineer, and used my 4 years in college to start my startup with the help of the university resources, with the help of my friends, and eventually, build a team of my friends. We innovated together, we filed for patents, we built a prototype, and slowly, slowly, to gain some traction, we started winning competitions in US and China, US and Canada, I'm sorry, and eventually, a little bit of success, and then winning more competitions, more money, prototyping, manufacturing, and eventually, with the help of our mentors and help of some amazing people, we were able to launch a business, and not only one business, but multiple businesses. So all the college students, we quickly realized that we need a team of experienced people, because we were not experienced, we were just kids. We had the technology, but as you heard, technology transfer is difficult, and commercializing and innovation is not possible unless you have the right team, the right business minds, marketing minds, finance minds there. Technology alone doesn't solve the problem of commercialization. So I got these amazing people who were the best in what they did at that time. And together we have built all these wonderful businesses and gotten awards. And I have shared my story on various TED Talks. So you can go Google my name, YouTube my name, and you can see my TED Talks. But the business that gives me the most satisfaction is Kolkata Ventures, which I almost run like a charity, but still, it's a business. And we have been able to create 550 plus startups. And thanks to the pandemic, we went virtual and we are able to be in 9 countries. Bengalis are known not to do businesses, but we made a little differentiation here, where we're not only creating businesses in Bengal, but all over India and other countries as well. Work with the government. So Modi ji sent me to the Prime Minister of Nepal to create the startup ecosystem there, along with some other CEOs, like you see here, Ritesh from Oyo, from Sugar Cosmetics. We have Kaushik. Her wife is one of the sharks on Shark Tank. I'm also guest faculty at IITs, IIMs, and 2 US University. And what I'm going to share with you today is basically how I have done tech transfer, how I've taken innovation to business, not once, but 8 times, and sold 3 of those companies. So the first thing you need to know about your startup is that your startup starts with you. You're the beginning point, right? So whenever I build a business, I have this kind of a thing where I put 2 columns. One is skills, one is passion. At whatever time of my life, I figure out what are my top 2 skills and 2 things I'm super, super passionate about. In your case, it might be, whatever it is. Like passion could be cricket, could be movies, could be something. And skills could be coding, could be marketing, could be design, whatever it might be. This is why this exercise is important, because when you're doing innovation, before you innovate, you need to figure out what market you want to innovate for, what problem you want to solve, and how you want to solve it. So with the passion, you figure out the market where you look for problems to solve. And with your skills, you figure out how to solve it technically, business model wise, etc. Right? And you combine these to create your business model. The first thing you do in building your startup is creating the vision, right? So you have to be a futurist. You can't see what is happening right now and make a startup out of it, right? It's too late because other players who started before you are already ahead of the game. So you need to be a futurist where you need to predict what is going to go wrong tomorrow, right? For example, with all the digitization, cybersecurity is a big, big problem. One of my mentees, his girlfriend was being blackmailed for the last 6 months, where she had to shell out 11 lakhs to these Chinese hackers who took her picture, morphed it on somebody else's body, and you can imagine what they did with her picture. And they had access to all her contact list, and she was being blackmailed that we're going to send this picture to all of your contacts. And for that to not have to go through that embarrassment, she paid them almost 11 lakhs. The money she almost didn't have. She borrowed from friends and everybody. So, in fact, they did make those pictures public, and it's embarrassing for her, and especially very, very bad because she lost money and she lost her dignity. And not everybody believes that those pictures are Photoshop. So, point is, that's not the only thing. Even Aditya Birla Group, their computers got hacked. So hacking is a big problem. Cybersecurity is a problem. With pandemic, we know health is a problem. Uh, there are going to be automated vehicles without drivers. That means vehicles would need to interact with each other to not get into accidents. So there are a lot of things that are going to happen in the near future with advent of 5G technology and everything. And we need to figure out what is it that the problem of the future that I want to solve. So when I start today, I am in the right track, right? So some places to find these problems is Google Trends, Google Patents. You can see what others are patenting, so you know what products are coming out, right? You look at the history. You look what happened in the past, because the past repeats itself. When the Industrial Revolution happened, a lot of time opened up, right? Because there was automation. As a result of which, people started having time for entertainment. So the movie industry and the sports industry popped up. But today, with all the automation that we have, people have a lot of time in their hands. So people spend almost 6 hours a day on YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, right? That's a lot of time. That's almost a full-time job amount of time. So given the history, what is going to be the future? We have to observe, analyze, and predict. So the better you can predict the problems of the future, the better you can solve them, and the more likely for you to succeed. I wanted this session to be a little interactive. So I would love for you guys in your chat box, if you can type in the answer to this. How do you think transportation and entertainment will evolve after the advent of 5G technology? Right? Ambani has already said within 6 to 8 months, they're launching 5G technology. So how would entertainment and transportation evolve because of 5G technology? Let me see. I'll stop sharing my screen for a second and see if you guys have your answers here.
So guys, please respond.
So only the moderators can type in the chat box.
Oh, chat is disabled. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, no worries. So I'll give the answer. In that case, let's see. Go back to the screen. So, for example, transportation. There's already in the works that trucks are going to be the first to become driverless, because when you're on the highway, it's much easier to predict where you're going versus gullies in small towns and whatnot. So So that's one step that's happening. So driverless trucks, imagine that. A lot of truck drivers are going to lose their jobs. Not quickly, but eventually, because you're still required to be on the driver's seat in case the system goes on a whack. Entertainment, there's going to be VR, AR, with Oculus and metaverse and all of that stuff. Things are going to be very much more tangible than they were ever before. You had a crush on a Hollywood celebrity, she or he is going to be in your in your Oculus, and you're going to be able to experience proximity with them, and everything else is up to your imagination. What else is possible with faster internet and more richer experience of entertainment? So back in the days, innovation would happen by the Tatas, Birlas, Ambanis, and it would be like whatever they wanted, they would make. They would put ads on television and movies, and people would buy them. Today we have choices, and the way innovation works is making things people want, not making people want things. So we find out what is it that people are struggling with, what is it that people are complaining about, and based on that, we build products and services. For example, with Zomato, people wanted to order food at home. Zomato made it happen. Uber, drivers, cab drivers would not respond to you, running after them. So cabs come to your doorstep. Yellow cabs are almost gone thanks to Uber and Ola, right? So what is it that the people's problems are and they're willing to pay for, and accordingly, you innovate a solution. You start with the problem. And there's a nice definition of problem. Problem is something that no one wants, but everyone has to face it, and no one can avoid it, right? What is such a problem? Death, old age, disease, right? Natural calamities, etc. People don't want it. And you look at those industries, anybody has a solution for disease, old age, death, nobody has a solution. But pharmaceutical industries or vaccine companies and stuff, see how much money they make, because the problem is dire, so profitability is also through the roof. So you have to identify your market. Who is your target market? Age group, city or rural, gender, etc., and figure out who is your target market. And then based on that, figure out what's the problem. That's one problem that you want to solve for them, and they're willing to pay for it, right? It cannot be 100 things. Some students came to me the other day and were like, sir, we want to make one app, mega app, that will have Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, everything, Messenger, everything in one. And I'm like, well, if you realize all of those are owned by the same company, Meta, and if they really wanted, they could have made it into one big app, but they didn't, because people prefer it to be separate. So don't try to be everything for everyone, be something for someone. So when you're starting to innovate, try to solve one big problem. Don't try to solve a million problems. You'll end up solving nothing, right? Have a strategy. Here is what you should be thinking as you're strategizing. First is people's desirability. What is it that people want, right? Business viability. How much money do you have? What is possible? What is not possible business-wise, legal-wise, right? And then, of course, there's a technical feasibility. If your technology takes 400 crores to build, good luck. If your technology takes somebody at the 10 years of experience to build it, well, good luck finding somebody like that to work for you as a student startup, right? So we have to, sometimes we might think big, but we have to start small. We have to miniaturize the solution, the startup, and go phase by phase, rather than going major steps, which we might not be able to take. We can take small steps in the right direction and eventually go phase by phase. So break down your dream into small, chewable milestones, and thereby you can innovate something that is commercially viable, that has people's desirability, and that you can build with the technical team that you have, right? Now, there are, beyond the technology, there is the format of the business. So what kind of business model do you have? This is at the bottom. I'm starting from the bottom to the top, right? At the bottom, there is make one, sell one. manufacturing, the very age-old traditional process. You make a product, you sell a product, like phones, cars, etc. Service industry, it's like accountants, doctors, etc., where you hire one and sell one, right? You have to hire consultants, accountants, doctors, lawyers. The more you have, the more billable hours you have, the more money you make, but you have to pay them. For every person you add, your cost is increasing, and so is your revenue. Then comes your software company, where you make one, you sell many. You make one software and you can sell it 1,000,000 times. You make one app and billions of people can download it. It's still one app. You may have to make it once, update it once, right? Of course, you have to host it for 1 billion people. That's a lot. Having said that, you're only making it once, right? So highly, highly profitable. And then comes many make, many sell. That means it's a platform. It's like Amazon. Amazon is not making anything. Somebody is manufacturing and selling on the platform. Somebody is buying on the platform, and Amazon is taking a chunk of the sales. So every sale that goes through Amazon, they take a small chunk of that. And that's why Amazon is the richest company in the world, because of its business model. It doesn't have to make anything. It just has built a platform where sellers come, buyers come, and business happens. It's a marketplace. It's a platform. So platform as a service, software as a service, people as a service, or manufacturing, right? So based on this, now you figure out which is the best model for your commercialization of your technology. Then you break down, you make a goal. Okay, I want to make so much revenue, right? And you break it down into, okay, how many products do I have to sell to come to this revenue? Or what kind of subscription can I do over a 12-month period to come to this annual revenue, right? So when you break it down, it becomes a lot more achievable. And based on that, you figure out to come to that. Let's say you decide I'm going to sell $17 per month subscription to 5,000 people for 12 months. So for that, what kind of team do you need? What kind of roles do you need, right? And based on that, you recruit a team. Now, it doesn't have to be, you have to have all of these people. You might have 3 people who do all of this work, right? So these are roles, but one person can do 3 people's job, right? Another person can do 3, 4 persons' job, right? So, but the roles needs to be clearly defined, that what would it take to get to this amount. And then comes, so how do you get that team together? You have to sell that vision to people who you want to bring on board. That means you have to build a team. That means, you don't have to be the smartest guy. You just have to hire the smartest people. So can't spell entrepreneur, be one and hire someone who can. Hire doesn't mean you have to pay. Hire means you have to bring them to the team and they work for equity, certificate, appreciation, resume building, whatever it might be. But you bring them on board and together you build the solution. You show them the diamond hidden in the coal, and that's what makes you an entrepreneur, right? You need to know how to communicate. You need to know how to share your vision with others and bring them on board for the same reason that defines you, that motivates you to build this startup. You want high skill, high will people. You want people who are high on the energy level and high on the skill level. You don't want people who are low skill, high will. They will definitely damage your business. You don't want people who are low skill, low will. They are just naysayers. ये नहीं होगा, वो नहीं होगा, ये कैसे करेंगे, वो कैसे, these are naggers. These are people who are always making excuses. So you want people who are like कर दिखाएंगे. Somehow or other, I'll figure it out, right? These are the kinds of people you should have in your team. And this is the places you get these people from: LinkedIn, F6X, Angel List, college groups, alumni from Amity. Some of the best people in the country are from Amity University. So you have a very rich alumni group. Maybe you can find somebody who can fit in any of these categories. You can find your friends to start with, right? Don't underestimate.
Would you like to take questions in between? Sorry to interrupt.
Sure, why not?
Okay, Kushagra, please unmute yourself, turn on your camera and shoot the question. Kushagra, are you there? Kushag, your hand is raised. So I guess you want to ask a question.
I think he's muted.
Yeah, he can
Maybe.
unmute himself, I guess. Kushag, unmute yourself.
I don't know if that's allowed. Maybe he has to be given access to that.
Okay, I will make him a participant.
Yes, Kushag.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sir, I'm sorry. My camera isn't working as I'm sitting in the library right now, and the internet is not that nice. Sir, you just 2 slides ago, you said we don't want people that are high on skill and low on will.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like, you cannot always be the best at, for example, marketing or finance or technical, as you said. You can
Mm-hmm.
only be good at one particular thing. So
Right.
if you have a person who has a lot of skill
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't have enough will to, go ahead and transform that
Mm-hmm.
skill into for example, an entrepreneurial mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't it always best to have a person who is high on skill and you can do the will part of it? Like
No,
at
it
least
doesn't
take the
work like
best.
that. This is what's going to happen. They're high on skill, and you're going to tell them, "Can you get this done?" They'll be like, "Haan, karenge. I have a project. After that, I'll do it." Oh, yesterday my grandmother got sick. Oh, today I'm going out with my girlfriend. And you're going to get excuses and excuses because the will is not there. The skill is there, but they're
Right,
going to give you excuses. And one thing that would take you 2 hours to do would take a week or 2 months sometimes. So
right,
these
sir.
people, what happen is they won't say no to you, but they will destroy you because they will keep you waiting, and you will keep waiting and waste valuable time.
Okay. So you're saying that I can hire somebody who has great skill, if not that good of a skill, but a good level of skill and high level of wills that I can make up for that lost time
Correct.
with that amount of skill as well.
See, the high
Okay.
will is basically the Jugaru mentality,
Right,
which is
right.
I'll
Yeah, I
look
was
at
just about to
YouTube,
say
I'll
that.
look
Yeah.
at Google, I'll figure it out. If I don't know, I'll figure it out. Somehow I will get you the result within the time frame you need. That kar
Yes, sir.
dikhayenge attitude. If that is not there, they are just going to drag you down to hell.
Okay, sir. Right, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure. I'll go back to sharing. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, please go.
All right. So don't underestimate social media because social media is very powerful in terms of making contacts. This is Uber that was built literally by two guys who met on Twitter. Ryan lost his job that day. Travis was looking for a business development co-founder, and they connected on Twitter, and they created a multi-billion-dollar company called Uber, right? I've personally done tremendous amount of business through LinkedIn. So it's very, very powerful to use social media to your advantage. Then comes learning to manage projects, people, and time, right? Because when you're doing product development, you have the innovation, but to commercialize it, you have to build the product. And that requires product management / project management. You need to have deadlines, you need to have a to-do list, you need to kind of know where you're going, what's the end goal, midterm goal, short-term goal, weekly goal, and break that down into to-do list every day, right? And thereby you break down the tasks that are required to take you to that product development, project management, etc. You create Gantt charts. I mean, if it looks too complicated, it's not actually. If you see here, what's happening is there are various tasks that you break it down. So you know what needs to be done, but some tasks are dependent on other tasks. So you can also put the timeline in place that, okay, only when this happens, the other thing will come into being. So you know how to predict the future and how much speed you need to go forward and finish something within the deadline, right? I'm not going to get into details of project management, but you need to know this in order to build products, manage your team, and get things done for your customers, right? The one thing I'll tell you is every day have a phone call, 5 to 10 minutes long, where you just ask your team members, what did you accomplish yesterday? What you going to accomplish today? That's it. That keeps everybody on their toes because every day as they're working, they'll think tomorrow morning my boss will ask me, what did I accomplish today? So I have to speak something that I accomplished, right? So the whole lethargy, waiting till the deadline and all that goes away when that's every day they're answerable to you. of what did you accomplish yesterday, what did you accomplish today. Use project management softwares. It can be a lifesaver. It really makes things organized. Understand team dynamics. As you have a team, different teams act different ways. But what happens is commonly, and this is industrial psychology, proven already in 1965, initially there's forming, nobody says anything. People are shy, they don't know what to do. Then comes storming, people are fighting amongst each other. They think, I know better, because nobody knows anything. Then under your leadership, they come to norming, where they feel, okay, I know what is my role in the company and I'll work at it. And through that, they come to performing stage. Again, you have new recruits, you grow from startup to scale up. And again, this problem comes. New people come, they're forming stage, they're storming, new people, old people fighting, right? Again, you as a leader bring them to norming and then performing by putting them in their place, putting them in their KPIs, performance indicators, and thereby they know what to do and how to best serve the team. Right? As an entrepreneur, you need to earn trust, respect, and a healthy dose of fear, even if people working with you are older than you. Only then work gets done. Otherwise, like I said, it'll perpetually get delayed and delayed and delayed. Make sure you're fundraising, right? So once you have a proof of concept, the commercialization part is important, where you have to either get grants or some government money or some kind of investment down the line, right? And manage that cash flow and be compliant. So money comes in many forms. Money comes in the form of cash, credit, favors, grants. There's all these apps that are available to you that are giving you free service initially for the first 3 years of your startup, whether it's Google Cloud or Amazon Web Services or Microsoft BizSpark or Paytm. All of these guys are giving you lakhs and lakhs worth of services for free just because you're a startup. Make sure to build your personal brand as an entrepreneur. People should trust you, should consider you an expert, and you need to create that persona where you post on social media your expertise, your wisdom on things that you're doing, and reading that, people learn, this guy is good at what he does. And that eventually works into when you're hiring people, when you're getting funding, people are looking at your social media and figuring out who you are. And based on your personal brand, the trust is developed. This is Hitler building his personal brand. He actually used to practice before his speeches and tell his photographer to take his pictures at different poses. So he knew next day at his speech what pose he would do. So it was a lot of hard work that he did. Not appreciating the guy, but every politician, every movie star, every entrepreneur, every CEO works on their personal brand. So people call them brilliant, right? And that's what matters when it comes to building trust, hiring people, raising money, selling products. When you will be stuck. Throughout the steps, you will be stuck. You will be in problem. You will not know what to do, right or left. Sometimes you might reach out to your professors. Sometimes you might reach out to your mentors. Sometimes not. But unless you ask for help, you won't get it. And this is coming from the Bhagavad Gita. Not very far from all of you at Kurukshetra, this happened 5,000 years ago. Arjun was in dilemma. He didn't know whether to fight with his relatives, teachers, cousins, or if he should just run away to the Himalayas and become a beggar. And that's when he asked Krishna, please tell me, become my teacher. You're my friend, but I want you to be my mentor, my teacher, and tell me what is best for me. And only then Krishna starts speaking the Bhagavad Gita, when he asks. Till then, Krishna doesn't open his mouth, right? First chapter, Krishna is not saying a single word. Arjun saying, this is why I don't want to fight. That is why I don't want to fight. And finally, when he asks, Krishna, please guide me what is best for me. When he asks for help, only then he gets help. So when you ask for help, a mentor is there to show you where to look. But you can't blame the mentor for your mistakes or failures or success, because you decide what you choose to see. It's up to you what you take, what you don't take. No one knows what is best for you. Only you know. So mentor shows you where to look. Principles are given, but you decide how you choose to act with those principles. Based on time, place, and circumstance. There's always going to be two options when you're deciding. There's short term and long term. Long term benefits always more rewarding than short term. Short term could be like, chalo abhi kar lete, baad mein jo hoga dekha jayega. And long term is more like, let me struggle now so I can enjoy in the long term. And that's entrepreneurship. And you know this story, the king and the two ministers. One guy, the king offered $1 million right now, and the other guy said, oh, it's okay, I'll take 1 paisa doubling every day for the next 30 days. And that's the power of compounding, right? For 28 days there was nothing. Till after 28 days he crosses 1 million, 2 million, 5 million. That's how compounding works, right? When you start a startup, there is going to be nothing, 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 nothing. And then suddenly it picks up and you're seeing exponential growth. People know about you, people hear about you, they're talking about you. So that's very, very powerful. So that's how it works. Most people give up here or here because they're saying nothing is happening, mere se kuch nahi hoga. So why even try? That's like 1st of January, everybody makes the gym membership. They think they'll lose weight. 30th of January, they go and see no change. Mere se nahi hoga, and they give up. What they don't realize is it takes a little bit of time for the power of compounding, for the exponential growth to kick in, right? And that's the science. People who understand it, they stick with the hardships, the difficulties, the rejections, the problems, and those who don't understand it, they die somewhere in the red area. Here are some habits that as an entrepreneur will really, really help you. Meditation helps you focus your mind because you have to be high performing. You have to accomplish way more than a normal person can do in 24 hours. You have to have a daily to-do list. Make sure you know what 3 things you're going to accomplish every day towards your weekly goal, midterm goal, long-term goal. Be real. Don't lie. Don't fake it. Be authentic. Let people trust you. Give 100% attention to whatever you're doing, one thing at a time. Say no to most things. Say yes to only the best things, right? 1%. Study books, because if you're reading books written by successful people, then you learn a person's 50, 60, 70 years of journey in a matter of hours. And you don't have to make those same mistakes. You can learn from their success and failures. Blogs, are also great ways. If you're following blogs of successful people, if you're following their YouTube channels, it'll help you. And that's why I have my YouTube channel, because when I realized I could die any moment, I decided all the wealth of knowledge that I have from my mentors and from my experience, I want to make sure my next generation has it. And I created my YouTube channel, and I keep posting every week some nuggets of wisdom about startups, right? So seek mentorship, read books, blogs, learn from other people's mistakes, learn from other people's successes so you can succeed faster, right? Stay away from negative people, negative gossip. They suck you out. Give back out of gratitude, whatever you can give. Smile, sweet words, a thank you, an appreciation, a flower, give back. That really, really makes a huge impact. And reward yourself, most importantly. When you finish your to-do list at the end of the day, make sure you reward yourself. Either good music or food or Netflix or something, but reward yourself every day for finishing, whatever you went out to start. Learn skills and qualities, experience knowledge, do things, make things, break things, make sure you're eating the right stuff, get into fitness. All of these things make you a superhuman, to be honest. And you need to be a superhuman in order to be a successful entrepreneur or successful anything, even an IAS officer, or if you want to be a successful doctor, anybody who you want to be extraordinary, you can't have an ordinary lifestyle. You have to have an extraordinary lifestyle. And that requires these things. But start with small things, small changes every day. Remember that nothing part, nothing, and then suddenly there is a exponential growth. So small changes every day, 3 things on your to-do list every day. It'll sustain you, and eventually you'll see the exponential growth. Initially, you will be like, I'm making mistakes. You'll build, you measure, you learn, and you get better and better and better and better every day. You fail fast, you succeed fast. You're bound to fail initially, because you never build a startup. You don't know. You never build a product. You don't know. You never file for patent. You don't know. So you will make mistakes. Keep trying. Get guidance from your wonderful professors that you have, wonderful mentors that you have. I'm there. One Instagram message away, I'm available. So get help, all the help you have. Just know that it is natural. Most people are not successful because they fail to fail enough number of times. They let fear hold them back, right? And those who are fearless and nothing to lose, they fail, 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 and eventually succeed. The thing to hear is not just failing, but failing less every time. If you're failing less every time, that means you're moving towards success, right? And Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita. It's like happiness, distress is changing seasons. You're happy now, distress is coming. You're successful now, failure is coming. It's part of life. It's part of world economy. That's how it all works. Stock market is down now, tomorrow it's going to be up and you're going to make a lot of money. Again, it's going to be down, some war, some corona, and stock market's going to go down. Oil prices, GDP, energy, everything. The whole world works like that. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says it. Bitcoin prices, same thing. But the thing is, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, but it's going up mostly throughout the years, right? That's what's important. Don't make decisions when you're stressed out, when you're going through a breakup. Those are the worst times to make decisions. Be aware of it. Have strong belief system. Know your potential. Take action. When you see progress, when results come and you've done well, your belief system grows and you can take bigger and bigger results. If you believe you're stupid and you have no potential, you will not take much action, the results won't be too good, and your belief system will grow that way also negatively, and you'll be depressed. So Henry Ford said, if you believe you can, and if you believe you cannot, either way you're right. So what you think, what potential you have, what actions you take, what results you get, perpetuates negatively or positively, but it perpetuates in this fashion. So last slide, think big, have a big vision, but start small. You're in college, whatever little bit resources you have, start with that. Grow slowly, make mistakes, don't repeat the mistakes, fail less, right? And then once you've figured out a repeatable, scalable model, then come to investors, and with investor money, you grow really, really fast and build your market share. If there's any way I can help you, I'm here for you. I'm the only person with the name Avel Roy. So you can find me on my 200 plus videos on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you want, you can find me. I'm there. And if you need one-on-one mentorship or something, you can call this number or WhatsApp this number. My assistant will schedule a time. In short, I'm here for you as elder brother to see you succeed. Thank you very much. And I'll go over to Professor Mani in case there are any questions.
Yeah, so it appears that there are a few questions. Arjun Kaul, please go ahead. And after that, Kushag.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. That was a really interesting session. Thank you for this. And sir, I would like to ask, sir, where do you actually find these like-minded people which have really high skill and are really willing to work alongside you to really achieve something in their life, achieve a really big project or a work on a startup?
I wish I could name your club where all these people hang out, but there isn't one. But what you'll see is every classroom has that high energy fellow who's like always with ideas, bright, polite, and friendly with everyone and smart. So identify those people. And you have to be friendly yourself. You have to show them the vision. And it's not like you're Amitabh Bachchan and everybody's dying to work with you, right? You have to also prove yourself. So it's both ways. Those people exist. They're in your classrooms. They're in your alumni groups. They're in your neighborhood. They're your friends of friends. They exist. You have to see them. Now that you have the startup bug in your head, you will start scanning the whole world looking for these kinds of people. And when you find them, be super nice to them, be the best version of yourself, and seduce them into your startup.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sure.
Kushag, please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, you mentioned about short-term and long-term goals, but For example, like initially, like you said, the first 25 days, 26, 27 days, there is nothing at all. Like it's dead. It's almost dead. So during those days, if we were to think of some short-term goal, that
Mhm.
would probably, help us take that start, take that hyperbolic start. So isn't that a better option at that time instead of thinking about long term?
If you don't have
Because
a
I get these
long-term
thoughts a
goal,
lot of times.
if you don't have a long-term goal, what will happen is you'll go in circles, right? Long-term goal helps you go
Right.
forward. So the short-term goals needs to be aligned with the long-term goal. Like I showed the $1 million. Then I derive 5,000 people paying X amount of money every month, leading to that $1 million, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
if your long-term goal is not clear, your short-term goals will be haphazard. They'll be here and there. You will feel like you're doing a lot,
Right.
but it won't be in a direction of going forward. It will be sideways. It'll be random,
Right.
and that doesn't lead to anything.
Right.
Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're progressing.
Right. Yes, sir. So, sir, short-term goals that are aligned with our last long-term goal
Correct.
can
So I'll
still
give
be a
you an
viable option.
example. Connecting with three people. Let's say you're hiring a app developer. So your weekly goal could be connecting with three people on LinkedIn every day who are app developers.
Right, sir.
It could be as simple as that. Is it hard to
Hmm.
do? Connecting with three people, searching and finding out smart people who have a portfolio of apps that they have built? No. So that's a simple weekly goal. Then another thing could be finding mentors who have built something that you're building and they can help you guide you through it. Perhaps another thing could be applying to incubation centers, right? Applying for grants, one application
Right.
every 2 weeks, right? So like that, small things. These doesn't have to be massive goals,
Yes.
small things. If you want to do an app, your UI UX, okay, I'll get that done in 45 days, right? And then we'll go
Right,
for
sir.
the tech development, etc. So like that, give yourself midterm, long term, short term, and then all aligned to that long term revenue goal.
Yes, sir. Sir, another thing you mentioned that you should meditate, you should have a patient mind, right? So, sir, isn't being dynamic because entrepreneurs are dynamic. If you take decisions fast, you have to always be on your toes. You have to be a hyper human to be able to accomplish that. So, doesn't being a patient person necessarily interfere being a dynamic person? Because I find
That's
very
a
hard to find the
misunderstanding.
balance.
That's a misunderstanding. Uh, if you are not calm, so patient
Hmm.
doesn't mean low energy. If you're not calm, you cannot think. Your prefrontal cortex will not be functioning properly. That means you can't make
Right.
nuanced decisions. In a
Right,
business,
sir.
you can't make black and white decisions. It's always a gray area where things are not going to be
Hmm.
100% this way, 100% that way. To think like that, you need the front part of the brain to work. And if you're not a calm person, if you're not patient, you will lose out. So the point is patient over long term, but
Right.
crazy over short term. So every day, if your developer is saying, sir, it will take 3 weeks, you say, no, I need it in 1 week. Like speed over short term. But you know for a fact it will take 10 days. But if you say 1 week, it will take 10 days. If you say 3 weeks, it will take 6 weeks, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Right.
the patience is over the long term that I know by 12 months I have to achieve this $1 million goal. But
Right.
on a day-to-day basis, I'm pushing everybody, so they give their 100%. I'm pushing myself, so I give my 100%. But at the same time, I know things will take longer than expected. So when things don't go as expected, I don't flip out and start abusing everybody in the team and throwing
Hmm.
tantrums. You can't do that as a CEO.
Yes.
People are looking up to you as a leader. So even if you're a 20-year-old, you can't afford to be a 20-year-old. You have to be mature.
Yes.
And only then you earn trust, respect. Otherwise, you don't. Right.
Right,
So
sir.
that's where the calmness comes in. That's where the meditation and all those habits come in, because not everybody can do that. Under pressure, most people crack. Leaders
Yes,
are
sir.
different because they can take that pressure, think productively, and move forward when everybody else is freaking out.
Right.
Right? When a
Right,
plane is
sir.
crashing, the engine is on fire, the pilot cannot freak out. He has to
Right.
use full capacity of his brain to crash land the plane so that minimum damage is caused. That is what you're doing with your startup as an entrepreneur. So Freaking out is being a hyperhuman is not what makes you successful. That doesn't mean you're low energy. You're high energy. Go, 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 go. At the same time, super calm internally, where you're able to balance everything, see everything, think, and then only answer.
Right, sir.
It's crazy to be an entrepreneur. Takes a lot.
Yes, it's difficult to find the balance. Yes, sir.
It comes with practice. It doesn't happen in a day, right? Just like meditation, when you try for the first few times, it'll be like, doesn't work. But when you do it for the number of years that I'm doing it, you see the effect of it that it has. I can read a legal contract that somebody else will read in 2 hours. I can do that in maybe 30 minutes because my mind is trained to be focused. I can weed out all other thoughts and I can be super duper focused. Like
Sorry for the interruption.
So anyway, so that's required. That kind of focus, that kind of willpower is super important for you to be successful.
Right, sir.
Anything else?
Thank you very much, sir.
Most welcome.
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that was a very interesting session in which we got a lot of insights and information to act upon, especially for those who are planning for campus startups and converting their innovations into startups. So on behalf of Amity University, I thank Mr. Avelo Roy, Managing Director of Kolkata Ventures, for sparing his valuable time from his busy schedule to share his ideas and thoughts with our students. Thank you very much, sir. And we look forward to troubling you again in near future.
Always a pleasure, Professor Mani. Thank you very much. Wonderful meeting you and all your students. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we have another speaker who is about to join us in few minutes. So please hold on. And as soon as she joins, we'll start the session. Thank you so much, all the students, for active participation. A special mention to Kushag and Arjun. So we will resume around 4:15. So you can stay logged in.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Vanshika, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Let me make you a presenter.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Hi, we can see you after a very long time.
Yeah. I think we met sometime last year, right?
Yeah.
How are
So
you? How
let
are
me
things?
introduce.
Yeah,
Good.
sure.
We are now fully offline, except for these kinds of meetings. So let me introduce you to our students. Some
Yeah,
of
sure.
them may not be aware about you. So Vanshika Batra is co-founder and chief operations officer at Cloudflow, which is a technology startup. She is a serial entrepreneur who's passionate about using technology to shape new ideas She had discovered her entrepreneurial spirit at the age of 19 when she was able to sell two of her dad's properties within a span of a month. Just a few months when the pandemic struck, she discovered that it was a really nice time to boost their supplement brand because people were spending rands on immunity boosters and whatnot. So she aided in the amplification of the sales of their brand Sarvasthaya, which means health for all, in which she aimed at opening an e-commerce website where her responsibilities included marketing and branding the product. She is passionate about storytelling and bringing brands to life through planning, execution, and distribution of creative design and communication. She believes in building startups that give more than they receive, ability to understand target audience needs and opportunities, strong negotiation and problem solving abilities, excellent leadership and communication skills are her strengths. She has a knack for crafting easily digestible yet effective and actionable content. Her passion is to help people become the best version of themselves. With this brief introduction, I invite Ms. Vanshika for sharing her expertise on the topic of today's session, that is converting innovation into a startup. And mind you, she is an alumnus of Amity University, and she has created campus startups. So, uh, so students, uh, now it's up to you and her to explore more about it. And there are many, Vanshika, there are many like you, right, who want to have their own campus startups while they are students. So over to you. And most welcome to Amity once again.
Thank you so much, sir, for the great introduction. So I think just to contributing just to the topic that we have today. So how can we bring the ideations that we have and how can we convert them to startups? So I think nothing can be a better story than what I have like myself gone through. So instead of probably going through pointers and stuff like that, I'll be telling you what my life experience was as an entrepreneur and how did I started Cloudflow. So I think uh, whenever we are doing a startup, you want to be an entrepreneur. The first thing that you would anyways come across will be the problem statement. So what is the problem statement that you're planning to solve, right? So that is how I basically started Cloudflow was first discovering that problem, which I first hand experienced. So telling you something about the background of like myself and how I discovered Cloudflow will be. So me and my co-founder Shivam, we started a D2C fashion brand based in US, which had a drop shipping kind of a business model. So giving everyone like a gist of how the drop shipping model looks like is, so you as a owner of a drop shipping model just have to take care of the marketing and branding of the product that you promote. You don't have to put out warehouses, you don't have to take care of the logistics, so you just source the products from one place and then you sell it to the other. So this is how so you will just be take caring of the marketing and the whole experience of how the brand will look like. That is what your responsibility will be. So since we had a brand ourselves and we were doing marketing, so we found like a one-stop solution for everything, for all of your marketing needs. So let's suppose marketing, what all is required. So there are Facebook ads, you have Facebook for that, so Meta has covered you there. You have Instagram ads, again Instagram has covered you. You have Google ads, Google is there for that. But then there is this new discovered field, which is influencer marketing. And we saw that there is no one-stop solution, since there are a lot of solutions out there, so people tend to get confused. So there is no market leader, not here, not in US, nowhere. So since that is how we discover that it is very difficult to find which creator is going to align with your particular brand. So resonate the brand's image with the influencer's image is something that we were facing a problem as a brand. So giving you a gist about influencer marketing as well. Influencers are nothing but people like you and me who have a follower base on the various social medias that they have. And influencer marketing, we saw that influencer marketing has been growing, in the pandemic. So even here, like in India, it is not that a mature market, but again, in the countries like US and UK, it's quite bit of a mature market there. But again, there's no one-stop solution, right? So we ourselves found that that there's this gap. We found this market, and there's this gap that we should fill in by, again, tech, because tech is something which is बहुत ज़्यादा scalable. But again, we did not had that kind of an experience, कैसे product build करेंगे. It was again our first. So again, I'm also a BTech in computer science. So, but again, putting a whole software into production is something which again we haven't also not done. So we needed a lot of market research, and like a lot of things were required before we put the whole software out there. But again, the problem statement is something which we were very sure about, that there's this market out there and there's no one-stop solution that we could so there's this matchmaking that has to be done, and jo brands abhi figure out nahi kar pa rahe hain, and we can help them out. So this was the problem that we which we faced there. And soon when the pandemic stuck, there was a lot of problem in logistics. You guys might know logistics mein pehle jo product was getting delivered in 5 to 6 days, usko baad mein 30-35 days lag rahe the. So we saw a lot of backlash in the brand as well. So again, we sold it, and we had already discovered the problem statement, as I told you. And then we shifted on to, again, building the product. So that was the biggest mistake. Without doing market research, building the product is something which you should never do. You should find the product market fit. So so whenever you're starting your own startup, it's very, 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 very important to do research about the market that you're getting into, be it advertising, be it influencer marketing, be it general marketing, whatever you want to do as an entrepreneur. It is very, very important to research about the market. So since being students, I think it was a little difficult in the start to so we figured out, like, how can we do market research? There are blogs out there, and you can Google stuff. But when you Google, what is influencer marketing, you Google specific keywords. I actually did not find anything that fruitful enough that was actually present out there on the web, because again, it is something which is very new, right? So I'm not sure, but you guys might find it, probably the field जिसके अंदर तुम्हें कुछ you want to do your startup, हो सकता है that you guys might find it out. I think that will be very, very nice. But I eventually did not find anything that fruitful out there on web regarding influencer marketing, the core experience that we wanted to have. So hence we started off an influencer marketing agency. So like managed services for influencer marketing. So we started off with that. We started reaching out to brands. Again, it was very, very difficult to first, convince that first client that you get. It is very, very difficult to have that client. But yeah, we started out reaching to clients through mails, through WhatsApp, through connects that we had, friends and family and stuff. So we had our first client, and so that is how the journey started. Then we had multiple collaborations. Currently, we are working with some of the top D2, you say Lotus and Dot and Key and whatnot. So that is how we started with the journey. So again, the starting of the agency was just to do the market research, right? So we never wanted to do like a agency, like a service-based model was never the goal of the startup. The startup's goal was to build a tech product. And like I told you, like I did a very, very big mistake on, jumping onto the product, making the SaaS and the software, like, we can do it. But again, when we were also building it, we saw कि इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें जो हमें अभी नहीं पता. and hence we started the agency. So it is very, so when we started the agency, we got the brands. When I started talking to the influencers, I got to know like what are the major pain points that we have to fill in through the product. So again, we had a problem in mind. We started with the market research. Here we started it not through reading stuff and going on Google. We started it with hands-on experience in the market. And when we started with that, we got to know a lot of pain points. The problem statement that we had, apparently it was much more deeper. मतलब वो एक statement से हमें पता चला कि नहीं ये problem नहीं है, there are a lot of problems that we should solve. मतलब जो agency and managed services से हमें पता चला कि now that humans are involved, since humans tend to make mistakes apparently, जो tech से हम solve कर सकते हैं. So we figured out that there are a lot of problems that we can solve in this particular market. And so we then we figured out the problem again, and now we have pivoted our product. So this is the stage that an entrepreneur always comes in after they are into their own journey of building their product, pivoting of the product. So you were building something else, you had this problem statement, you were building this product, and now you're into the market research, and now you analyze, no, this is something wrong that I was building, man. Now I need to build this. And apparently now we don't have just one product that we had in mind. Now we have 3 products. So giving you a gist about it, we found the right product market fit. So we know that which product is going to be sold to which clients. So even talking about my particular industry, so it's not like Uber and Ola. So Uber and Ola, maybe you have drivers and you have customers, but again यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है. यहाँ पे you have brands का scale हो सकता है, right? There can be small brands who are just starting off. There can be big brands like Lotus who are already established. Then there can be middle level clients as well. Then there are influencers. Same influencers, maybe it's not like all the influencers are common. We have categories. We have categories of influencers. There are celebrities, and there are small influencers, some mid-level influencers. So we found, so we figured out that we cannot have just one product, that can cater to everyone. It is not like Uber and Ola. It is something that we have to fit in these 3 products that we are building, that to various different clients that we have. And that is that every entrepreneur, like I told you, will come across the right product market fit once you have the experience in the market. It's very, very important that you do your market research right. First, you figure out the problem, you do the market research right, and then after doing the market research, you find the right product market fit. So I remember sitting and having this conversation. So we have this Amity business plan competition, if I'm not wrong. So we did present our first business plan there. And I remember getting this feedback from one of these guests. And they said that, you should not get married to the idea that you have. So that time, the idea that I had was building an e-marketplace, like, a one-stop solution for everything, like I told you. So that person told me that you should not get married to the idea, because once you start working, you'll figure out, that this is not that I should build. Probably I should build something else. I should have like 3 products or 4 products, or maybe not this, something else. So I think that is what I actually realized. No, उस time पे मुझे लगा like why is this person saying me I should not get mad to my idea, but I'm confident about my idea. ऐसी बात नहीं है, it will work out. But then I eventually discovered it myself. Yeah, that's true. But I had an idea, but once I was in the market, मेरे को पता चला that people won't adapt to it, because it's not like one solution that you would have all across. So again, this pivoting of the product is something that every entrepreneur comes across. Then it's about more about working consistently towards building this. Now you have consider that you have found the right product market fit. You know what you have to do. You have your goal in the mind, and the vision, the mission, everything is established. That's very important to have the right team, I would say. So it's very difficult to find engineers nowadays, and since we are a tech-based company, and we need a very strong team, we need a very strong skill set when it comes to engineering. It's very difficult to find that right. So once you'll come to this side of the table, I should say. So once you become entrepreneur, you'll figure out कि ऐसा नहीं है, jobs are out there. People are very happy to give out jobs, but they're not able to find the right skill set that will match to their company. So in startups, we usually require people who are, highly motivated, always energetic, they are dedicated, they want to work like 24/7. They have that kind of vision in mind, and they are able to focus and work together towards it. That is something that you look forward to in your initial team. So I think that is very important. So I think we did. I think we did that right. Now we are a team of 40 plus employees working in a hybrid mode. I'm still in my office. So that is so team building. Finding the right people is the next step, and then moving consistently, keeping everybody motivated, and moving consistently towards that one goal that you have in mind. Keeping everybody aware. This is what I see, and this is how we are going to achieve it together. So making everybody realize that this is the bigger picture. Probably now, so we used to sit in a co-working space before. So it was me and my co-founder, like two seats we used to have in a very open co-working space in Connaught Place. Now we have like a 18 20 plus seater here in Gurgaon. So making the initial team realize कि यार अभी हम 2 या 3 लोग हैं, and but this is the bigger picture, man. We see a company of 300 400 employees 1 year down the line, and making people motivated and energetic on a daily basis, something which is very important. So you should have your visions aligned with them. So yeah, team building and working towards the same consistently is important. Then comes the various rounds of fundings that you will raise. And so we recently raised our funding from Mr. Ritesh Agarwal, OYO's founder, Kolkata Ventures. So then, once you realize that you want to scale up, you have your runway ready, and now you want to fly. So the airplane is made, the team is ready, the product is ready. You're probably, if you want to build a product and you think that you require funds for it, for the team building and everything, so then that is when you come across the funding phase. Now then you figure out that now, man, I need a funding. Now I've bootstrapped enough. Ab to funding raise karke I want to fly. And that is when you start reaching out to VCs, angels, friends, family. So yeah, pretty much that's it. Probably if you guys have some questions.
Yeah, sure. Before I open up the floor, there are a few objectives of bringing you in this platform. So up till now, whenever we met, you were the one who were asking the questions, and I was the one who was answering them. So we
Right.
will flip this role a bit for the benefit of our students. So what was the primary motivation? I mean, you had several career options, right? Like joining a well-established MNC, or maybe joining your own family business, right? Or starting
Right.
out on your own. So what was the primary motivation? What drove you towards the condition that you find yourself now in?
Okay, so basically, the question is that how did I, how am I on the entrepreneurial path and not doing anything else, right? So basically, I never actually wanted to do like a, if I should say like a 9 to 5 job, if that's right, because that is something that doesn't really excites me, you know. So even if I'm doing something, 9 to 5, in fact, coming to college was again something which was very monotonous, I should not say. But I think I feel that I like challenges in my life. So starting from once we were in the college, And when we started off with our first D2C brand that I told you about, so it was like you're learning new things each and every day, which I think that when you start doing a job, when you are working somewhere, I think there are only a particular number of skill sets that you can acquire, right? Because uske baad to everything starts becoming monotonous. So I think, but as an entrepreneur, I pretty much know accounts, I know finance, I know HR, I know business development, I know operations. I feel that I can. So I have made that 0 to 1. So I know that what are these different aspects, and I'm learning each and every new day. So I think that is something that drove me towards this to because I liked to learn these new things each and every day. I wanted to have these challenges, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
Pretty interesting. So, was there any person specifically your ideal or who motivated you towards entrepreneurship?
Um, not really. I mean, I did see like my family business happening. So you can say like I think that can be one of my motivations. Not really an ideal. Now I do have an ideal, but not an ideal actually motivated me. But I saw a family business happening. So I saw that this is something that actually excites me because I see my dad and my mom working towards it. So that can be one thing. Ideals is something that I have now in entrepreneurship, but not at that time.
Okay, so I mean, there were few raised hands. Are you? I guess somebody was raising the hand. So, anybody wants to ask a question, or Ayushri? Yeah, Kushagra wants to ask a question. So, I will follow up with more questions after Kushagra asks his questions, right? Because priority is for them. Okay, Kushagra, please go ahead.
Um, Hi, I'm Kushagra. So you emphasized a lot about market research and how you should know going about the market. So what, in your opinion, is the best way to do the market research? I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the question.
Got it. Hi, Kushagra. So I feel that market research, the best way to do a market research is by getting the first-hand experience doing it. So honestly, in my case, you can do market research again, through reading stuff, through Googling stuff, blogs and everything out there. But there is no way better than actually experiencing it. So I think that is where actually we guys uh, like saw that. So we actually did an agency before, and uske baad we built our product. So we saw that usse a lot of things benefited us, like in my personal experience, because I saw what the actual pain points are in the market, and uske baad I was able to figure out a product accordingly, right? तो एक प्रॉब्लम था, उस मार्केट में जाके मैंने उसे एक्सपीरियंस करा खुद एंड देखा या मतलब आई गॉट द what do you think, what can you say, so I got the like a finalization on it कि हाँ ये actual में ये problem है, there are more problems to it, and that is how I did my market research. And I think that there is no better way to do a market research than actually going and experiencing the market yourself.
Okay. But like, what if you're venturing out into a new space completely? I mean, like,
That is something which is very risky though, but लेकिन कुछ
hmm,
तो लोग होंगे, if not in India, मतलब there might be people like who have done it in abroad, so you can research about them. So
okay.
what is this niche that you're talking about? Is it crypto?
No, it's not necessarily crypto, but like for example, a social media platform just for startups or people who are about, like, I was just thinking about it for the past couple of weeks. Okay, that is
Okay.
something. Like, there is LinkedIn. Okay, but LinkedIn is completely for professional, and there is no, you cannot filter out, ki who's interested in startups, who's not. But like, what if we build a platform that is just for startups? Like people who are
You can
interested of
search about
startups.
One Valley. I think they do something similar. So it's like a platform for people who want to do startups and people who already have startups and people who are VCs and who want to invest in startups. So it is like a
Hmm.
complete startup community. You can search about it. I think they have something like a subscription cost to their platform, but there you can interact with other startup founders. You can find motivation and ideation to your startups. You can connect with VCs if you're looking for funding, and you can also find validations. So I think One
Uh,
Valley is something similar what you're talking to, if I'm not wrong.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can go and research a little about it.
One Valley is specifically for angel funding. Like it's like they specialize in that and idea validation and all. They're getting into it, but right. So I
Yeah,
got
but
what you're
you
saying.
can, yeah.
Hmm.
You can look around it. I mean, there might be like something similar out there, something similar if not exactly same. But One Valley is like one of them.
Right, right. Okay. Thank you.
Most welcome.
So are there any other questions? No. Okay. So let me ask a few of them uh, on their behalf so that they get better motivated uh,
Sure.
and they realistically realize the pros and cons of the career option that they are going to make. So, I mean, did you face any resistance from your family or from your friend circle for joining or for choosing this career option? I mean, was there any
Mm,
kind of a stigma or I mean, what you're doing, we are going, I mean, you must have lots of batchmates who would be going ahead and would be guaranteed a better career.
So, honestly, like my family has been always बहुत ज़्यादा supportive. So I did not face any backlash from my family because again, I feel that if I would have been starting off after my fourth year like ends, उसके बाद I would have faced a little, I would have felt like a little left out when other peers, might have actually already joined some companies or they might be working somewhere and it's something very, very risky. So as an entrepreneur, when you start your startup, you don't know where it goes, right? It can be a zero, it can be one, it can be a billion as well. So probably if I would have started after fourth year, I think I would have faced that, probably I'm lagging somewhere. Yeah, everybody is placed. You get that kind of a feeling. But again, you have to be motivated enough. You have to have that drive in you that, yeah, man, this is something that I believe in and it is actually going to work. So that is a thought that you should always consistently have. But personally, I did not face like any issue, even from my friends, like my batchmates, my peers, or my family, because I started very, very early. So I started somewhere in my third year when the pandemic struck. So yeah, even currently, like I think right now also when everybody is getting placed, I think I'm currently right now in my fourth year itself. Everybody is placed in my class. So when everybody is placed, I'm you can say I'm here giving out placement. So I'm actually reaching out to the placement head and giving out placements. But again, this I agree on that factor that it would have been something different and something which I feel would have been a little more riskier if I would have started out after my fourth year. But again, in that case, I feel that I would have been a little more motivated and enthusiastic and more consistent so that I don't feel that kind of a lash or a backlash. And there are no obstructions in my path that I'm facing.
That means you're really lucky.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So now, most of these students that come to me for some kind of a guidance or counseling, uh, what I find that there are two problems that are playing there. One is market research about which you really created a very good case why one needs to do thorough market research before building any product, right? But let's say once you finalized on a particular problem to be solved and you feel that it's a hair on fire problem, then how do you proceed further? Because building a product, a good product, uh, requires resources, right? So, what is your experience? And if you feel that you have made a mistake, how would you like to do it now?
So, considering that we already have a product in hand, and now we want to find that, is this actually working or not, is so the right way to go about it will be getting validations from the correct people who are in the same market. So just say if I have a product, let's suppose in crypto, right? So I'm going to go an expert in that field, and I'm going to show them my product, and just not one person. So you can make cases out of it. You can make like a whole observation. You can go out and reach out to like probably 10 people and get their views on your product before like actually bringing it down in the market. You can go to the market experts and get their validation on it, and how do they feel about the product. Do they think that it is going to work? Is it beneficial for them? Tell them about the problem statement, and give them your product as a solution, and then ask them that are they benefiting out of it. Do they think that similar people who are in the similar space like them will actually benefit out of this product? So that is like, I think, getting validation from the right people is something how we can go about it in that case.
Okay, so I mean, did you find any challenges in building the product?
Yeah, so I mean, uh, building so
I
building
mean,
the product,
uh, technical challenges like lack of expertise, or if there was lack of expertise, how did you overcome that challenge?
so lack of expertise is again something that you can learn the skills, you can build it there. So we have our the tech product that we're building is a Mon stack. So obviously I did not uh, I did not already know Mon stack. It wasn't like that. So but Mon stack is what we work upon. So obviously we learned the skills and then we started building it. So lack of expertise at first, but before building you should know this. So again, it was very difficult to find the right stack also. So there are actually a lot of hurdles when once you start building the product. You don't know क्या stack होना चाहिए, front end पे क्या रखें, back end पे क्या रखें, database में क्या होना चाहिए, which is the right technology out there. You have to do again research again उसके अंदर. There's no hand holding, nobody is there जिसको जाके तुम पूछ लो कि क्या करें क्या नहीं करें. You have to do research. You can see similar products उन्होंने कैसे करा. You can see कि front end पे what's the latest thing, what are the latest updates. You have to be a little updated on the technology as well. So finding the right stack that we should use, to actually finding the right team who will implement the stack. And you cannot actually have you can actually not lead a team of tech people unless you yourself know tech, right? So it is very very important to right now we're hiring people who are project managers and who are senior front end developers at Oyo, at Swiggy, and these guys have their packages of 40 LPA, 45 LPA. So because they have that kind of skills, right? And you cannot lead such people unless and until you don't have that kind of skills. So it is very very important to first build your own skills. This is something that I'm telling you specifically from the technical uh, background, because तुम उनको तब तक hire नहीं कर सकते जब तक, because उसके बाद तुम्हें if you personally don't have that kind of skills, you won't get to know, right, कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं, नहीं कर भी रहे हैं, वो काम भी allocate नहीं कर सकते. So we did not face like a challenge, I could say, but it was very difficult to find the right stack to build that kind of skill sets. But we had our, our whole 1 year to do the research. It is very, very easy in my case. So I have a co-founder named Shivam. So he is leading the tech team completely, and I am leading the managed services, the operations side of the business completely. So when I was doing the research about the market, he was actually building his own technical skills. So that is how we managed to do it. But if I would have been a single person to do the market research, manage the operations, and as well as build my own tech team, my own tech sales, find out the right stack and everything, do the research in the technical space, it would have been a major, major challenge in that case.
Okay, that was really insightful. So, students, do you have any more questions for Vanshika? So I don't think so that there are any more questions. So if they approach me, I will share your details, contact details with them,
Yeah,
and you
sure.
can help them out as an illustrious alumnus of Amity. So all the best for your future endeavors, and we wish
Thank you.
more success to you so that Cloud uh, Flow becomes a unicorn in near future. And we thank you once again for coming to this forum and sharing your experience and insights with students of Amity. Thank you so much,
Thank
Vanshika.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure being here and sharing my experience. Always, always happy to be here again anytime that you want.
Okay, thank you so much. We will be
Thank you.
bothering you again in the future.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for interacting with the speakers. And I would encourage more of you to interact like Kushagra did or Arjun did, so that these sessions are more fruitful for us. Thank you very much. So
Thank
I
you,
will
sir.
end this meeting now. You may leave.
Thank you, sir.